I'll just record it here. All right, you guys can see the screen. I'll just go from my screen here. Hopefully, no. Now, if I don't have the screen up, I can't see the darn thing, which means I can't go ahead and darn it, come on. Okay, let me try this. All right. Did the circular flow just go away?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I got it then. Okay. So the 69, 17, 17, and minus 3. 69 goes here. 17 goes here. 17 goes here. And the minus 3 goes down here. That tells you how much, when we say $22 trillion, 69% of that 22 trillion is spent by households. 17% of the government of that 22 trillion is spent by the government. 17% of that 22 trillion is spent by business. Now, if you add those up, you'll come up to 103%. That's why net exports is a -3, because there's actually more money leaving our economy going to the rest of the world than the rest of the world is putting into our economy. So actually, our economy is shrinking, but everybody, the rest of the world's economy grows because of their trade with us. So that's why 69, 17, 17, and -3 go into those areas. All right. Yeah, we already talked about the income formula. We talked about that part. Okay. Yeah, we're never going to use it. Oh, man, let's see. Okay. A little bit about it. Okay, here's where we go. When we talk about GDP, we need some kind of a common denominator that we're going into. So let's go back. Remember that GDP is supply. So that's the supply side, but where's the demand side? Well, that's the spending from households, business, government, and the rest of the world. So we have supply, we have demand, and the equal sign, that's equilibrium. If businesses produced what they think we're going to buy over the year, then they will have produced $22 trillion worth of stuff, and we would have bought $22 trillion worth of stuff. Our common denominator is dollars. All right, that's what we're looking at. That's why GDP looks at the total market value, or in other words, what it's bought at Walmart. Why? Because that's what households, business, government, and the rest of the world, they buy off the shelf at Walmart. So we want to make sure that they're equal. If you think of it that way, then just go back to our original supply and demand curve. We have shortages, we have surpluses, we have equilibrium. We have things that will shift the curve one way or another, whether it's on the supply side or whether it's on the demand side. Right now, we're just looking at the whole $22 trillion economy, not just one little product or something like that. So that's where this comes into play. Right? And remember, households, that 69% is stuff we buy. Whoops. And the stuff we buy, there we go, are durable goods, non-durable goods, and services. Durable goods is anything we can touch that is going to last more than 3 years. That's about 10% of the stuff we buy. Non-durable goods, it's still stuff we touch, but it's got less than 3 years before you have to replace it. That's about 30% of the stuff we buy. Services, that's 60%. All right. Now, non-durable goods, hopefully your refrigerator and car are going to last more than 3 years. Or excuse me, durable goods. Non-durable goods, hopefully your computer is going to last more than, oh, excuse me, non-durable goods, that's milk and bread. Those are not going to last more than 3 years. And if you're drinking 4-year-old milk, don't tell me anything about it. All right, but the durable, that's the stuff we can touch. Now, you may hear sometimes that the United States is a service economy. And It all has to do with right here, because 60% of the stuff that we buy are services, lawyers, education, changing your oil if you don't do it yourself. All right. All of those are services that somebody else provides that we pay for. And that $22 trillion, 60% of that is services. The other 40% are durable goods. So 60, 40%, we do more services. We're called a service economy. That's all that goes with that. So you should have the 69 here. And then the 17 goes in the government. Now here's where we come in with this new replacement capital stuff, right? Changes in inventories, construction projects, capital, research and development, creation of other stuff. Remember, if you are an artist and you are creating new music, that's your production. You are spending your time and talent to make that music. So that's an investment that you should be paid for. That's the cost or part of the cost of your business. Same thing with research and development. Businesses have to pay somebody to do the research and development. So that's part of the cost of that business. You could look at that as being part of the input cost to the production model. And in the profit equals revenue minus cost, it's definitely in the cost part of that model. Right? So that's what we're looking at. Businesses, when they buy stuff, they're buying stuff from the resource market. In other words, labor, let me see, capital, land, and entrepreneurial ability. They're also buying intermediate goods and services. So these are the things that businesses are buying. 17% of that goes to business. So what do I mean between the two? All right. Replacement capital replaces worn out capital. Here's where they added a new author to the new edition. And so he changed some of the words from the previous authors. Replacement capital is nothing more than the stuff that's depreciated. That's all it is. Over the lifetime of the year, something wears out. And my example in textbook is, let's just say an entire plant wore out. All right. Or it got destroyed somehow, or it was obsolete, whatever it is. All right. So it wears out. Let's say at the beginning of the year, our whole country only had 5 plants working. Now, if we got these 5 and this wears out, to stay at our present production level, we have to replace it. Or our production possibilities curves shifts to the left. It gets smaller, which means we lose products, we lose jobs, we lose retirement opportunities. So what we do is we take a brand spanking new plant and we replace the old one that wore out so that we can stay where we're at. Now, here's where new capital comes in. Let's say we bought 2 plants, but we only had to replace 1. Well, they're both brand spanking new, absolutely same equipment, absolutely same amount of workers, everything else. But this one replaced the other one, so it's called replacement capital. The 6th one went ahead and actually increased our production possibility from the previous year. So even though they're both brand spankingly new, this replaces the depreciated stuff. This one increases production, keeps it the same, increases production, and we have a new production level. Anybody have a question with that? It's the same stuff. We just categorize it in 2 different ways. We're good? All right. I don't see anybody saying anything, so I'll assume we're good. Of course, government.
Not good, just processing.
Okay. Well, if you got something, feel free to go ahead and bring it out. All right. Government spending, there's that 17%. They buy stuff. They own public capital. And they do basic science and research development. they go ahead and provide money to universities for basic scientific study. Unless you're Dr. Fauci, and then you provide money to biolabs in China and in the Ukraine. I love that part. But anyway, the government does go ahead and does this stuff. So that's where that 17% comes in, because we got government there. Then, of course, we got the rest of the world. Now, we call it net exports because, remember, we've got money coming into the U.S. We have money coming out of the U.S. Net exports is how much is coming out versus how much is coming in. That's where we get this -3. Now, when you do the math, we're looking for the difference. Just remember, E comes before I in the vocabulary. So export dollars minus import dollars. Export comes before import. So we take a look at that, and that's where of that $22 trillion that we spent, it was actually could have been more, because 3% of what was spent in the U.S. economy actually went to the rest of the world. So this gives us our definition. This gives us our expenditures formula, and this defines the expenditures formula. Remembering that 69%, 17, 17, and -3 are these four, and these are the four main parts of, or those are the 4 parts of our formula. All right, now I went in and I showed you guys this. I said, what's GDP? The easiest thing to do, because you might see this a little bit later. The easiest thing for you to do is write the formula down. GDP equals C plus IG plus G plus XN. Just write those down at the top of the sheet. Then, does employee compensation, in other words, income, fall in any of these 3 areas? Now, first off, they shouldn't, because the key part there, these are all spending. That one says income. Then, of course, consumer spending falls under something. Construction spending, net exports, government purchases, total consumption, using it up, capital investment. And we go down here and we go, there we are. We threw 2 of them out. Why? Well, first off, employee compensation, not even part of the formula. Now, capital consumption, using it up. If we haven't bought the replacement capital, this is just the depreciation, doesn't even count. Now, capital investment, this is where we bought that 30, or we bought 30 that was used up. That's our 30 of this, 40 here. 30 is replacement capital. The other 10 is new capital, part of gross investment. So you'd have the 40 under gross investment. Construction spending, part of gross investment. You'd have the 100. So you got 140 under gross investment. You got 300 consumer, that would be households. Net exports, the rest of the world. Government purchase under the government. You add those up, you come up with 510. So you need to remember, when you write these 3 down, here's the definitions right here. If you get a list, all you have to do is which one of these on the list fall under one of these. And if they do, you just put it under that one, and then you add them up. Now, the other thing you may get is you might get something up here that says, instead of net exports, it might say export and import dollars. So you might have export dollars here, you might have import dollars here. Both of those would go under imports, but remember, it's export dollars, whatever it is, minus import dollars. Just like it shows right here, export dollars minus import dollars, that would go under XN. Now, spending, we know that it has to do with all of this stuff. That $22 trillion that's spent. This blue line and then this green line, basically the line that's not broken, this is the travel of money. We talk about $22 trillion. This is the circle where the money goes. We talk about $22 trillion of production. This is the circle of the production. And remember, government is there to go ahead and make sure the other 5 characteristics of capitalism are working. We have competition. We go ahead and make sure the rest of the world is playing fair, not just businesses. But we also take a look at what households are doing. We make sure that the different markets are doing their thing. We'll get to the capital market later because that's the Federal Reserve. This actually is money on this one, all right? So anybody have any questions at this point? Yep.
All of these will be in the recording in Moodle, all 3 of these videos.
Well, they should be, but they're also on the videos.
Oh, okay. I just was thinking that
all of this is just a review of the videos through the questions you guys asked me.
Okay. I'm just saying because there's some things that you're saying on here that's not on the video, just some little extra tips. And so I just want to make sure if I can go back to it.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure the extra tips I went ahead and put in the video because I take you through this. But yeah, they'll be there. I'm just gonna have to remember how to go ahead and put them on now that I actually have it set up that I can do this. All right, let me see if there's anything else in here. We talked about free rider. We talked about that. We talked about the formulas. We talked about the -3. We talked about new and replacement capital. Talked about R&D. I see. Yep, we talked about that part. Yeah, I think we've covered all of the questions you guys had. So at this point, if you don't have any other questions, you guys can go do your stuff. If you do have some questions, I'm here to answer any of them.
Professor, you're supposed to talk about the 2 quizzes that popped up on us today.
Thank you very much, Tamika. I appreciate that. The 2 quizzes for last week that you guys are supposed to do. Well, apparently I didn't double check to make sure I unhid them. So the quizzes for, and let me see, that was government, and that basically the 2 things we just covered today. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah.
It's the GR and MD.
Yeah, the GR and the MD. All right. Those are the things we covered today, right? Yeah, we covered those. So those are the ones that are coming up. So the 2 quizzes that are there. Oh, man. Okay. Let me go ahead back down here and see this. Yep, there was that one. And there was that one. Okay, the GR and the MD quiz did pop up today. And also the DS and the MS quiz are there too. Now, I've got most of the DS quizzes, most of the MS quizzes, and the spam papers, which are graded and to you guys. Most of the MD and the GR 3-section assignments are done. So you've got the GR quiz, the MD quiz, and the nudging paper are up. And the videos for this week, the BC and AD videos are up, as are the study sheets for each one of those. Now, there's only 3 videos. Right, so you've got 2 for the BC section, and you've got 1 for the AD section. So you only got 3 videos to work on. So your 3-section assignment, one of them is going to have 4 paragraphs. The other is going to have 5 paragraphs. All right. So as far as the GR and the MD quiz, no late fee, right? Because that was my fault. I didn't double check it. And I'll be sending an email out along with that thing of problems that I've seen on the quizzes. So you guys can make sure you take a look at that. Don't forget the nudging paper that's also there. So you've got the GR, MD quiz and the nudging paper and the BC and AD 3-section assignment. and there's not as many videos this time, so it should go ahead and help get there. All right. Our next Zoom meeting will be on the 21st. Shoot. Did I just go over the wrong ones? Yeah, I went over the ones for the GR and the MD quiz. And I did that because, oh man. Yep. Yeah, I messed up. I goofed because of I was doing all that stuff when you guys were handing me the stuff, and I didn't go into, yeah, I did. All right, well, you should be good on those two quizzes. As far as the BC and the AD quiz, I think what I'll do is we'll hold off on those. So let's use this to play catch up for everybody that needs it. And I'll just assign the quizzes after the next Zoom meeting, okay? Sound good?
Works for me. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you. Yeah.
All right. So we'll play
Okay.
catch up, and next week we'll go ahead and hit the rest of it.
Okay, good night.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Night,
you.
everybody.
Thank
Anybody
you.
that has any other questions, stick around. Anybody that doesn't, sign off and enjoy.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Professor Bubbly.
Yeah.
So it's Christian. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Christian.
All right. So I know I emailed you about my assignments, but
Yep.
I just got back in town today.
That was a big trip.
Yeah. I had like some things come up, so like it took me longer than I expected. But I just want to make sure that I do what I didn't do. So I'm not really sure what altogether that I was missing.
Well, if you look in the grade section, everything that has a 0 is missing.
Okay, got you. I will work on all that this weekend, so I will get it out to you. I want to say by when the rest of the work is due on Monday. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
All right.
But do me a favor. Do me a favor. Don't stress out on it. Okay.
No, I'm not stressing. I just know it's
All
an
right.
accelerated program, so like I don't want to dig myself too deep into a hole to where I don't get to enjoy the rest of the semester. If that makes sense.
Okay. No, it does, because there's a few of your classmates that have dug a big hole, and they're going to have a week to catch up 4 weeks worth of work.
No. I don't want no parts of none of that. I just want to make sure I
Now
can get what I
you've
can
been
get.
doing good. You've been doing what you can. So just go ahead and keep going, and we should go catch up from that. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye. Okay, where in the heck is this?